Well, welcome back to the football. We're going to have a little fun in this video. As you know, I'm a big Giants fan and do a lot of Giants content, but I am in New York City. And, the Giants aren't really in New York, and quite frankly, neither of the Jets, they both play in New Jersey. But there's a lot of Jets fans here in the city, Long Island, and I think it's kind of amusing that they've sort of hitched their wagon to a 39-year-old quarterback and Aaron Rodgers. Now, it seems that the Green Bay Packers and the Green Bay Packer fans were none too happy the last few years with him as their quarterback. Now, he didn't have a good year last year. He's a three-time MVP. He's one of the great all-time quarterbacks. But they got very tired of him and his act. He's taking time off away from everybody. He's got to make a decision on where he wants to play. And now he's here with the Jets. There's a lot of sort of consternation, more like constipation from the Jets fans trying to figure out when they were going to consummate this trade. Now, your host is here in New York City. I am not a big fan of the talk show host, Joe Benigno. And I know that Joe Benigno thinks he's going to go to the Super Bowl with the Jets. But the fact that he's back on the air means that's not going to happen. And we've already seen with Aaron Rodgers, they had these organized team, activities, and he's already hurt. He hurt his calf. So just to see Joe Benigno suffer, just to see him, but he's a jinx. I would mention he's a stone cold jinx. When he came back, around that time, the New York Mets, who I'm a big fan of, and I have a baseball hut, everything sort of collapsed with the Mets. With him returning, he is a jinx, a stone cold jinx. Dark clouds over his head, and dark cloud follows his teams. He should have stayed off the air and stayed unretired. Now, the Jets are not the Giants. The Jets have won one Super Bowl, and that was over 50 years ago. The Giants have been to 5 Super Bowls in the last 35 years, winning 4 of them. I've seen all 4 wins. And your host thinks it's funny that the Jets are putting all their stock in this quarterback. If you think about it, the Jets have only had one quarterback of any note. They've had Chad Pennington, Mark Sanchez. Mark Sanchez, very successful guy, but his career basically fell apart after a couple of years. Kenny O'Brien. They had Vinny Testaverde for a little while. They hooked all their hopes in Zach Wilson. That didn't really pan out. They only had Joe Namath. And he hasn't played in 40-something years. 45, 50 years. Now, if you've not had a quarterback of any note in 50 years, then there's a problem. And that's really been the problem for the Jets for a long time. And they're going to hook their hopes in a guy that's basically past his prime. Is he going to be able to hold up for the season, just physically? Is he going to be able to get to the season? I don't know. And as a Giants fan that doesn't like Benigno and doesn't really care for this sort of nonsense, the JTS, just nonsense, I'd like to see the Jets fans suffer. I think they're the worst fans in New York City, to be honest with you. I think they're the worst, to be honest with you. They're worse than, believe it or not, they're worse than the Yankee fans, I would say. I would mention that when they left Shea Stadium, they ripped the seats up. They were setting things on fire when they left. Why would you do that? Shea Stadium didn't do anything to them. Shea Stadium wasn't going anywhere. Why would you burn down the stadium? But that's what the Jets fans did, and they're basically the same. They're really the worst fans in town, to be honest with you. Like I said, worse than the Yankee fans. I wouldn't count the Devils. They're in New Jersey. Who cares about them? Just like the Jets and unfortunately the Giants are too. The Jets couldn't even get their own home. That's how strong of a fan base they have. They couldn't get their own ballpark, their own stadium to play their games. They couldn't stay in Queens, which is where they should have stayed. They couldn't move to the Upper West Side, which was a lot of talk about that for a long time. They didn't do that. And now they're hooking all their hopes on probably an over-the-hill quarterback that's best days are behind him, with a team that has a dark cloud over its head. Well, you let me know what you think about this video. And you know what? I'll say it right now. I hope Aaron Rodgers fails and the Jets fail flat on their faces. Thank you. Have a good day, and I'll see you later.